Ray dipped the nose of the aircraft down. He'd been pointing out something to the person just behind him. So I looked out and I saw a bright light just about there and another beyond it, which was smaller. I thought the second light looked as if it could have been over the island.
Kate, my wife, who was sitting where you are, she then drew my attention to what we were looking at. A couple of orange lights down below the aircraft on the right-hand side. I leant over her, and at this point, there was only one light. A sort of orangey yellow, almost like a football shape.
But John and Kate quickly dismiss the idea that these lights are mere reflections.
We're going south. The sun is the south of us, the sun reflects, yes, fine, but we're doing 120 knots. Therefore the angle's changing all the time, and this light was constant.
So you're saying it couldn't have been a reflection?
No. No, it couldn't.
If the sun's reflection had been responsible, the high speed of the aircraft would have eventually caused the light's appearance to change. But, according to John and Kate, this doesn't happen. They are able to see the objects for 3 to 4 minutes, and Captain Boyer has been observing them for 15. And as they get closer and closer, his concern is growing.
When you saw these two objects, what were you thinking? Were you scared?
These things were getting pretty hefty, pretty big, and I didn't want to go any closer with the passengers on board. These things were getting quite close now. But it was at that point, maybe when we were still 20 odd miles away from them, that I started to get somewhat trepidatious about the proximity. If they were moving, they were coming towards us, I didn't know. At that point, radar said they couldn't see anything, so, but I could see them, and they were big. If they decided to come quickly at me, it could have been scary, so we were just getting down and landing. That's what I was thinking at that point.
The plane descends quickly, and Captain Boyer loses sight of the objects. He is able to land safely. Despite the extraordinary circumstances, the passengers give Captain Boyer the highest marks for his reaction to the situation.
He's not a man who gets ruffled. Anytime you knew you were flying with Ray, you felt you were in very safe hands. For him to register the concern that he had meant that what he was experiencing was very abnormal.
Upon landing, Captain Boyer immediately asks for anyone who saw something unusual to leave their information. While the Russells do, some of the others don't want any further involvement.
Or do you feel now that you saw something highly unusual?
The more the time goes by, the more there is no absolute explanation.
Well, in the strict definition of the word, it was an unidentified flying object, because it certainly wasn't in the sea, therefore it had to be flying, and it was unidentified, and it was an object, so it was a UFO, wasn't it?
You've been a pilot for quite a long time before this.
Yeah, 20 years on.
And how long had you been flying this route?
That route at that time, about 8 years.
So you knew it like the back of your hand?
Yeah, probably 2,000 or 3,000 times, you know. It's extremely difficult trying to explain to people what this is all about. And for me, it was so unusual that there's no precedent. I've seen nothing like it previously. I don't expect I'll see anything like it again.